A person named Bong has nightmares about unpleasant events that happened in the past and wakes up terrified from sleep. He realizes he is in his own bed. He gets up, prepares breakfast, and eats it with his wife. Then he heads to work at the police department. At the office, Bong's boss brings in clothes for his unborn child. Bong thanks him, but his boss reminds him, "Last week, you carried out a mission and arrested someone named Tao Ming. Did you get permission from the head of the division?" Bong replies, "No," and adds, "If I had waited for the division head's approval, I wouldn't have been able to arrest the criminal." His boss responds, "You did the right thing, but you've put yourself in a bad light with the division head. In the future, try to work as a team and follow orders from your superiors." Bong agrees, and they begin preparing to arrest the leader of a drug dealer gang. They devise a plan to arrest him tonight. Suddenly, Bong's friend, who is also his boss, contacts him and says, "An unexpected event has occurred. You need to come to the address I'm sending you, or tonight's operation might be canceled." Bong rushes to the location and asks his friend, "What happened? Why is the operation being canceled?" His friend replies, "I had to bring you here, or I would have been fired." Bong attempts to leave, but his friend pleads with him to stay. When Bong enters the room, he notices the presence of the police division head and other senior officers. To his surprise, the person he had arrested earlier is also there. Bong asks, "Why was I invited here?" Chan Jr., the lawyer, steps forward and says, "My client was intoxicated a few nights ago and caused harm to a police officer. The injured officer has since withdrawn their complaint. We are asking you to alter the report on the case." Bong responds firmly, "The file is no longer in my hands. It has been forwarded to the chief's office." His boss says, "The file has been sent back to your office." Bong becomes angry and tries to leave, but his friend stops him. Bong tells his friend, "You tricked me," but his friend replies, "I did this for your own good so you wouldn't get fired from the police force." Bong insists, "I will never do such a thing," but his friend urges him, "Think about your child. What will you do if you get fired? Please, agree with them." He then turns Bong back toward the room. Bong drinks some tea, pays the waiter for it, and once again attempts to leave. The chief of police asks him, "Are you aware of what you're doing?" Bong responds, "Of course I do. Do you?" With that, he leaves the place. The police begin their operation, but Bong and his team members are excluded from the mission. Bong, with angry, contacts his friend and asks for the location of the arrest operation. His friend replies, "I can't give you the address. You brought this on yourself. You shouldn't have angered the chief." Bong pleads, "You know I've been chasing this criminal for 4 years. Please, let me participate in the operation." His friend insists, "I can't give you the address. When we arrest Wong Quan, you can interrogate him." Then he hangs up. Bong orders his team to find the location by any means necessary. The police surround the operation site and prepare to arrest everyone during the drug deal. But just before the operation begins, a group of masked individuals launches an attack on the scene. They kill all the smugglers and police officers present, seizing all the drugs. The police chief tries to stop them alone, but they brutally beat him and throw him off the upper floor, leaving him severely injured below. When Bong and his team arrive at the operation site, they find that all the police officers have been killed, and Bong sees his best friend in a terrible condition. Devastated by the loss of his closest friend, Bong becomes deeply grief-stricken. After his friend's burial, Bong launches an operation to locate the stolen drugs, searching numerous clubs and arresting many individuals. But who are these masked individuals? Chang, who is the leader of the masked group, and his men were once members of the police force. In the past, a billionaire named Fook was kidnapped, and the kidnappers demanded $1 billion for his release. The Minister of the Interior ordered the police to rescue Fook as quickly as possible. The police conducted a large-scale operation and located the kidnappers, 2 individuals named Kwok and Wong Kook. The police surrounded their hideout. Chang and his team pursued them and eventually managed to arrest one of them. However, the captive refused to confess. The police chief pressured Chang, insisting that they must extract a confession from the kidnapper and discover Fook's location no matter what. Forced into a difficult position, Chang and his team resorted to torturing the criminal. Finally, the kidnapper revealed the location where Fook was being held, and the police successfully rescued Mr. Fook. During the rescue, the criminal attacked one of the members of Chang's team. In the ensuing struggle to save their teammate, another officer struck the criminal with a wooden baton, resulting in the criminal's death. Due to this incident, a trial was held against Chang and his team. During the trial, the police chief testified against them to protect himself, claiming, "I never authorized them to use excessive force." Fook, the man who had been kidnapped, also testified in court, stating the criminal should not have been killed. Meanwhile, Bong, known for his honesty, only testified about what he had witnessed. Despite their efforts, the trial proceeded against them. Chang and his team were convicted as criminals by the court, dismissed from the police force, and sentenced to prison. In the present, the police raid a club and arrest a person found in possession of the stolen drugs. Bong interrogates him, asking where he obtained the drugs. Under pressure, the individual confesses that he received them from someone named Gui. Bong and his team devise a plan to arrest Gui, but their superiors refuse to authorize the operation. However, the members of Bong's team want to carry out the arrest operation without authorization. Bong urges them to go home, rest, and wait for orders. Instead, he decides to enter Gui's territory alone and arrests him. Gui asks Bong, "What do you want?" Bong replies, "Because of the drugs in your possession, several police officers have been killed and others are in the ICU. I want to know where you got these drugs." Gui tries to bribe Bong, but Bong attempts to extract a confession by force. Just then, Gui's men arrive and point their weapons at Bong. For a moment, Bong is distracted. In that instant, Gui grabs a gun and fires at Bong. Bong narrowly dodges the shot, but Gui's men attack him. Suddenly, Bong's team arrives to assist him and opens fire on Gui's men. Bong engages in hand-to-hand combat with Gui's henchmen, defeating them one by one. However, Gui tries to escape. Bong chases after him and confronts him again and fight with him. Gui manages to evade Bong twice, but Bong refuses to give up. Determined to capture him no matter what, Bong relentlessly pursues Gui. During the chase, Chang's men run over Gui with their car, killing him, and then flee the scene. The next day, Bong visits the cemetery to pay his respects to his deceased friend. There, he comes face to face with Chang and his men. Due to lingering resentment from past conflicts with Bong, Chang's men want to pick a fight, but Chang stops them. Bong speaks with Chang and recounts the story of the police officers killed by the masked group. Chang responds, "This world isn't made for good people like our friend who is now dead." Bong firmly declares, "I will find them, and I will avenge everyone they've hurt." Chang replies, "Good luck," and they leave. A few days later, one of Chang's men enters a club and befriends a woman. When the woman tries to leave him, he forcibly prevents her from going. She mocks his disfigured face, enraging him. In his anger, he strangles her to death and disposes of her body in the water. However, the police discover the body and through security camera footage from the club, identify the killer as one of Chang's men. Meanwhile, Chang is planning another operation. The police track the phone signal of one of Chang's men, Nua, and raid them location. When Nua realizes the police are there, he flees and informs Chang that the police are after them. Desperate, Chang and his men escape, but the police manage to arrest one of them. Chang becomes furious that one of his men has been captured. After some deliberation, he tells his group, "The only way for us to escape this mess is to eliminate the main culprit." He then kills Nua, while Bong and his team are reviewing the masked group's history and planning their arrest. Chang kidnaps the former police chief and along with his men enter into the police station. He submits a missing person report for one of their friends to the police. Although the police interrogate each of them individually, but none of them confess and they claim, "We're here because our friend is missing." Chang tells the police, "According to the law, you can only hold us for 48 hours, and we're cooperating in any way we can." When Bong sees that the police are unable to make progress, he enters the interrogation room and begins questioning Chang himself. Bong asks Chang, "Now that you're here, what can you tell us?" Chang responds, "Even though many of your colleagues have been killed, you still haven't been able to find the criminal. How can I trust that you'll be able to find our friend?" Bong replies, "Sooner or later, I will arrest them." Chang retorts, "You need evidence to arrest them." Bong answers, "I'll find the evidence soon enough." They've become so notorious that it's only a matter of time before they make a mistake, and we'll use that mistake to catch them. Chang smirks and says, "By then, more people might die, and you'll just be busy attending their autopsies." Bong shoots back, "Let's see who dies first," and leaves the room. Eventually, the police discover the body of Nua, one of Chang's men. In a letter found with the body, Nua admits that he was responsible for everything. Meanwhile, the former police chief, with a bomb strapped to his neck by Chang, enters the training center where Bong's wife works. He takes Bong's wife and several children hostage. Due to lack of evidence, Chang and his men are released. Bong rushes to the scene of the incident. The bomb disposal unit informs Bong, "The person with the bomb has taken several hostages, including your wife. The bomb is connected to his pulse, and the only way to neutralize it is to kill him." When Bong enters the area, he demands that the hostages be released, but the hostage taker says, "I want to speak with you privately," and orders the police officers to leave the area. He confesses, "For years ago, I ordered Chang and his men to find Mr. Fook no matter what. But during the trial, I got scared and couldn't give an honest testimony." Through a wireless device, Chang tells Bong, "Now you understand we were innocent," and remotely activates the bomb. The special police unit moves in, but Bong fires at them, warning them not to approach the attacker. He tries desperately to defuse the bomb as the countdown nears its end. Just as the bomb is about to explode, the police chief orders the shooter to take down the attacker. The attacker is killed and the bomb deactivates. However, Chang remotely reactivates the bomb again. As Bong and his wife attempt to escape, the bomb explodes, injuring Bong's wife. While Bong rushes his injured wife to the hospital, he is arrested by the police for firing on the Special Forces unit. Meanwhile, Chang and his men set out once again to confront Wing Ming and finish their unfinished business. Wing tells them all the necessary equipment for the bank heist is ready. The heist plan is stored on a flash drive, but you're not supposed to be part of the actual bank robbery operation. Chang asks, why not? Wing replies, you're being pursued by the police, and I don't want to work with you. Chang and his group attack Wing and his men, killing them all. They replace the original flash drive with a fake one to mislead the police. Meanwhile, Bong is under investigation for firing at the Special Forces unit. However, Bong's team members enter the review session to support him, urging the officials not to punish or expel Bong. They are warned, if you don't leave the room, you'll also be fired. Bong asks them to leave. He then addresses the committee, saying, yes, I fired at the Special Forces unit, and I admit it was a mistake, but anyone in my position would have done the same. I was trying to save my wife's life, Bong continues. The criminals have escaped again, and they will continue their activities. If they are not stopped, more people could get hurt. The head of the disciplinary committee postpones the hearing for 24 hours and tells Bong, you will remain a police officer only for the next 24 hours. After that, your case will be reviewed, and a decision will be made. Bong thanks him and leaves. The police arrive at the scene of the incident and find a flash drive containing information about a planned heist targeting the Bank of East Asia in Hong Kong. However, Bong's team discovers the body of the head of security for Fortune Bank among the victims. This raises Bong's suspicions, and he tells the operations chief the information on this flash drive might be designed to mislead us. I believe the heist is actually going to take place at Fortune Bank, which is led by Mr. Fook. However, the operations chief dismisses Bong's concerns. Bong and his team try to convince the head of operations, but he dismisses them, saying, I am the head of operations, and I know what needs to be done. If you're so sure, go ahead and stop them on your own. Meanwhile, Chang and his men break into Fortune Bank, take Fook hostage, and force their way into the bank vault. They compel Fook to open the vault door, then kill him and empty the vault. However, as they attempt to flee, they run into Bong and his team. A high-speed chase ensues. Eventually, the police surround them. Bong urges Chang to surrender, but Chang opens fire on the police, sparking a fierce gunfight between the police and Chang's group. In the crossfire, many police officers and civilians are killed or injured. One by one, Chang's men are killed by the police. However, Chang manages to escape, killing more officers in the process. Bong relentlessly pursues him. Chang enters a church under renovation, and Bong follows him inside. A deadly fight breaks out between the two. After an intense struggle, Bong emerges victorious, defeating Chang. The Special Forces move in to arrest Chang, but as Bong prepares to leave the scene, Chang says to him, during my time in prison, I thought about one thing. If that night you had been the one chasing the kidnappers instead of me, maybe our fates would have been reversed and you'd be in my place. With that, Chang throws himself onto the iron bars and dies.